Hi there everybody, welcome to VD Gaming. I'm Lemonhead and this is a continuation of our FIFA 15 series with Blackburn Rovers, and as you can see Chris Hurd's offer was accepted, and in the end we decided to offer £7,000 per week for wages and a 3-year contract, with the hope that he'd accept that and not go to Derby instead, as they were also interested. We were also told that our offer for Alan Hutton was unacceptable and they wanted a bit more. So in the end we decided to offer 2.1 million with the hopes that they'd accept that. We then found out that Derby County's offer for Chris Hurd had also been accepted as well as ours, so that was a bit worrying because he might decide to go there instead of us. So we thought we might have to offer a little bit more to persuade him. So we decided to give him what wages he wanted and the length he wanted, so in the end we gave him £8,000 per week with the length of 3 years. But in the end, disappointing news as he decided to join Derby instead of us, and that was a big waste of time. In some better news, our offer for Alan Hutton was accepted, so it's just down to the contract, in which we decided to offer £19,000 per week because it was a step down to the Championship, so we thought we'd offer him less, and a 2-year contract. However, more bad news was when we found out that he was also being courted by Newcastle and was in talks with them as well. So I was thinking at this point, bloody hell, who are we going to sign? So I decided to try and offer more for Alan Hutton and give him what he wanted, see if he'd accept. But then it was on to our first game of the season against Chesterfield in the Capital One Cup at home.
As we came into the stadium. It's Blackburn Rovers today. They play Chesterfield.
I had a good feeling going into this game after coming off a Celtic win. I thought my players were playing a little bit better in that game and were a bit more up to speed, so hopefully that continued in this match. Even though it was a cup game, I decided to go for a pretty good side because I didn't have a very good pre-season and I wanted to get the team up and running before the Championship started.
This is the lineup for the away side.
Looking at Chesterfield, I wasn't really that worried. None of those names stood out to me, so I was pretty happy going into this game. So we kicked off and the first chance came pretty quickly in about the 7th minute when Hanley won the ball in the middle of the field, passed it down the wing to Conway. Great ball in from Conway and Gasteda's power header straight into the goal, 1-0 to Blackburn Rovers, which great goal by Gasteda there. Glad to see him get on the score sheet instead of Rhodes for once. For most of the game we were controlling the match. Chesterfield only managed to get a few chances, one of them being this one where some good play with the ball and great save by Robinson, but it wasn't that hard to keep out. However, our next goal came pretty quickly after that when Hanley won it in the middle of the park, passing it out to Gasteda, who decided to take a shot, bounced off the goalkeeper, and Rhodes fumbled it in for his first goal of the season. I think Gasteda got injured in that point, which is a bit disappointing because he was playing well, but I think he recovered later on. A few moments after that we got another run on goal, but a dirty tackle by one of their players earned him a red card, got him sent off, and to be fair, I didn't think it was worth a red card. but there you go. Referee made his decision and he went, and it made the game a lot more easier for us from then on. A few minutes later, a great ball in from Baptiste here to Gustede. I thought it was just going to be a header, but Gustede, I think, got fumbled over by one of their players, and we got a penalty. I didn't think it was a penalty. Once again, maybe I'm just being nice to their players, but I think he just fell over as he come back down. But you know, there was a little bit of a push there, and we got a penalty, and Rhodes stepped up for it. And there you go, it was 3-0. And very impressed with my team here, playing really, really well. Rhodes with a second goal, couldn't be going better. Look, even the subs are happy. We did get a chance to make it 4-0 just before half time, but Rhodes fluffed his volley. Should have really scored that, but I wasn't going to complain being 3-0 up at that point. Shortly after the half-time whistle went, and we went into the second half with a 3-0 lead, which I couldn't complain about. My team had played really, really well, and Chesterfield was down to 10 men, so I couldn't see any problems going into the second half. Shortly after the second half kicked off, Chesterfield had the ball on their box. Conway just getting it off him, fluffed his chance there, should have really got that in. And some great passing from my team here in and around the box. Great ball into Rhodes, and that was 4-0. And Rhodes' third goal of the game, so hat-trick for Rhodes and 4-0 for us. Couldn't have been going better.
I don't know how much longer he can go on like this with his 100% record. What a day he's having, everything he...
We did get a chance late on with a ball coming to Rhodes, putting in Burke, who I brought on for Gustede, but he managed to fluff his chance, and somehow that wasn't a penalty, but I wasn't going to complain at that point, being 4-0 up. And then the full-time whistle came eventually, and it was 4-0, Rhodes with a hat-trick. Happy days going into the first game of the championship season.
They just appear to have a wonderful team spirit in that camp, and that's going to serve them well.
After that, we found out that Gustede was out with a broken toe for 2 months, so I decided to replace him with Burke, who I bought in on loan from Villa. And we also find out that Alan Hutton declined our contract, so I decided to take that no further, as I didn't think he was going to sign for us. So I decided to maybe look for a youth player, and I found Matt Targett from Southampton, who I thought would be a good prospect for the future, and bought him in on loan with possibly looking for a future deal. We also sold Adam Henley, well, I said sold, we let Adam Henley join Bristol City on a short-term loan to get in some game time. Loan offer was then accepted for Matt Targett, so we definitely signed him. And that was about it for this video. I didn't want to have any more matches in this video, as I wanted to put all the championship games together. But yeah, if you've got any ideas on who you want me to sign, etc. and all that, let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button.